Good morning, YouTube. I'm still on the banks of the Great Miami and the Mad River here in downtown Dayton, and I'm going to weigh in on something else that was recently been in the news the past week. And this has also gotten a lot of regional news as well as some national news recently. A city councilman in Butler County, more specifically Middletown, Ohio, which is about 25 miles, south of Dayton. He was saying something about that after one or two times we need to stop giving people Narcan. The heroin epidemic is just absolutely massive across the state, and right now Dayton was named America's heroin capital in Montgomery County. 2 years in a row we've had that infamous and dubious honor, so that's not good news. Already many cities across the state have already surpassed their overdose death totals in the first half of this year, which is really scary, and it's something that's not getting any better either. But you know what? I have mixed emotions on this. There's been a lot of talk on social media, about these comments, and also some people have, suggested, forced treatment, mandatory treatment, which, I am not against mandatory treatment and all that stuff. But to me, this is a very, complicated issue. I'm not sure if I can, really give the best answer, but I'm very curious to hear everybody's, answer on this. And, and for those that have not heard about what this councilman said, I will try and provide a link in this video to this. But, but this opens up a massive can of worms if we stop giving people Narcan. Well, I think they should ultimately be responsible for their actions, but there are many others that have, caused this problem, and depriving somebody of their medication, not their medication, but of Narcan, probably is not the best thing. I basically would equate it to a police officer, not doing his job, or a firefighter, not doing their job. You're a public servant, paid to do a job regardless of how you feel about the circumstances. Now, that doesn't mean doing anything, that's immoral or wrong. But, we open up Pandora's, box when we talk about this. And, those of you that have also watched my channel for a long time know that I am very suspicious of politicians in general and their motives. And you got to pay close attention to politicians and their motives in general, because I simply just don't trust the motives of politicians at all to do the, right thing. But this councilman, he is not, backed off of it. I don't know if I support, stopping giving people Narcan. I could see charging them for on it, but the thing is, but even if these addicts got Medicaid, it's still going to be the taxpayers that are going to end up footing the bill for it, because they'll just end up billing it, and the probably ambulance run to their insurance, or vice versa. Or maybe a better idea, would be, instead of that, if the addict gets clean, have them do some, type of, community service. But as far as forced rehab goes, now whether that's constitutional or not, I don't know. Obviously, there might be some legal challenges trying to force people into treatment and vice versa. Now, I am not against mandatory treatment, but what I do not want to see, I do not want to see this turned into a money grab. Like, I mean, mandatory treatment would be a good thing if it's actually going to help the addicts. But the moment that some politician would try and turn this into a money grab is just wrong, you know, and you know, that's ultimately what I'm afraid of, you know, if they do that, because I just don't trust, you know, the motives of politicians to ultimately, you know, do the right thing. So, you know, I mean, I just don't know if what he's suggesting is going to be the answer to solve the problem, because I frankly think that the addicts, when they're in need, just don't care about whether or not, I mean, you know, they aren't thinking about whether or not they get revived or not, if, you know, when they're shooting up, you know, the heroin and the fentanyl and vice versa. So, you know, what he said, there may be some good stuff and some bad stuff to it, but it ultimately opens Pandora's box on many issues, and I just don't know if that's the right way to ultimately go about solving this issue, and vice versa. But, you know, let me know your thoughts on it, you know, but I do think that what he said, that it opens up an important dialogue, because it forces, you know, people to have the conversation about treatment and the situation, you know, with the addicts and how we, you know, fix these issues. So at least it gets people talking about, you know, how we can, you know, better tackle this problem, and, you know, vice versa and so on. But will it work? Will it get implemented? I don't know. That's a good question. But that's going to be it for this one. Let me know your guys' thoughts on this, and we'll see what happens. So that's it from America's heroin capital of the U.S., Dayton, Ohio, and Ohio in general.